No, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I don't think this is proper. This is not correct.
It's not.
We don't do that.
Cheers.
You need to look at me. That's also German custom because otherwise it will mean 7 years of
Bad sex. I think that's a global thing.
If you're German, you know. Please hold it into the camera to show that Josie cannot pour beer.
Yeah.
It came out of a can, guys.
Magst du Adler, ja?
Ja,
du bist
ja.
eine Muschi.
Si.
Prost.
Prost! Wunderbar! Super scheiße!
Hey everyone!
And welcome to another Video Saturday.
What? This is an eatin' talk, Everett.
Oh yeah, that's right. Welcome to another Eatin' Talk.
Where we eat and talk.
We're eating and talking, we're eating and talking, we're eating and talking. Come find out what we're saying.
Today we're at the Red Lion Tavern.
One of Los Angeles' best German beer garden.
We are drinking good German beer and we're gonna have good German food.
And today we are here with our special guests,
Nat from Bavaria and Pete from his own YouTube channel, 11 Yanks.
The reason we have our guests here today is because we want to do an episode on the dating cultural differences of Germany-American culture differences.
Great speaking, Everett.
Man, this beer works fast.
So, we asked another German-American couple to see if we can figure out the differences between German and American dating life. One major difference that I've definitely noticed in the dating world between America and Germany is the way American men approach women.
I'm not sure what that means, but clearly Natalie knows what's going on.
In Germany, men will probably not just walk up to you and want to get your number or go out on a date. But in America, you probably get approached almost every day. In the grocery store, at work, in the coffee shop, and at every bar.
Because freedom.
You're being perceived at all given times, whether you want it or not. You're being catcalled at all given times, whether you want it or not.
Because freedom.
And
Do
then
you
you
think
think-
there's a cultural difference between a very individualistic society like the US, where what feels good to you in the moment should be acted upon, versus a German society where the overall is considered over the needs of the individual, and thus you are less likely to approach a woman because it might be rude or uncalled for or unwanted? Do you think that plays a factor at all? I've never been to Germany. I'm just asking.
I think you have a
that
good
seems
point.
like a really deep analysis, and I haven't thought that
No.
far, but it might be true.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think
okay,
it's a
so
good
the
point.
the fact that you don't really say hello to a random person, and you do here, right?
Oh, okay, so that's part of it.
You're just more superficial, because if you're approaching me in the bread aisle at the grocery store,
Yeah.
you didn't base your assessment of you wanting to date me on anything besides, oh, she's in the bread aisle and she's wearing leggings, so yeah.
I love that you're in the bread aisle. Like, that matters.
Because that's
You
how
know?
Carbs are life.
No, tell him what he said.
So
Tell
more
him
likely in the bread aisle than in the
tell
soup
them
aisle.
Tell him the pickup line they
What was
gave
it?
you.
I was like, you look like you eat healthy. What do you
That's
think
it.
is a good bread?
No bread
Can I
here.
have your
Here?
number?
With bread?
Can I have your number was the next part. Did he even wait for the answer about the bread?
I don't know, but can we go on a date?
And so,
Will you roll my dough?
and I think in Germany, a lot
Oh
of
my
people,
god.
in Germany, a lot of people find their relationships either through friends or like a hobby or work.
Yeah, like
Then
school.
it's based on you already having something in common with that person.
Right.
But see, then that makes me very much a German. I've only dated people I've worked
Honestly, I'm the same.
with. Yeah.
Like, I've never catcalled a woman in my life.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I've never approached a woman in public and said, can I have your number? I've never done that.
Based on Natalie's reaction when I said the way men approach women in America shows me that it is true.
Yeah. It
is. It is
American
true.
men approach
Yeah.
you weird.
Yeah.
So, out of curiosity, on a week, like in a week, how often would you girls say you get either catcalled or approached on the average week?
Like, including catcalling, then
Yeah.
it has to be at least 5 times.
5 times a week, so
Yeah.
almost every day.
I mean, if I go somewhere, it probably happens. Like if I'm only in my house and at work, then not.
But
But
then
if
right.
I'm like, if I've gone to any place, yeah.
Like, honestly, while I was still
Like,
working,
does it happen every time you go to the grocery store?
Everett's getting low-key worried here. No, but like, honestly,
Look, there's ways to prevent it, or at least
She's
not
like,
notice it.
when you're there, no.
Josie's like, even when I'm home, Everett catcalls
No, but
me.
look, like, the thing is, when I was still doing dog walks for work, I got catcalled twice on a walk, which was like 30 minutes long.
Sure.
Going through the neighborhood in shorts and just regularly dressed with a mask.
Yeah,
People
it's a lot.
catcalled me.
I didn't realize
It
how
It
much
was
it was.
insane.
Super
And
misogynist
they even
culture,
slowed
man.
the car down,
I mean,
leaned
yes,
out of
but
the window,
it's
like
instinct.
up to their like
Not for
hips
you and
and
me,
like,
but for a lot of people.
girl,
I think
yeah. Question for you though.
I think my
Would you
parents call it
consider- Would you
machismo.
consider it? It's
Yeah.
obviously not catcalling, and it's not being asked for your number. But when you pass someone on the street and they're like, "Hello, ma'am," like more than a hi, like a friendly hi passing them, but they're clearly like trying to get your attention. If you're not making any eye contact, and you start saying "Good morning, ma'am," I'm like, dude, F off. Like I was clearly trying to ignore you.
Wow, that is a German thing.
No, it's rude and it's invasive.
But it's rude for Germans.
No, it's invasive
It's
for
funny
women. But now we're
because-
getting into a different
because-
issue.
So it's funny because the American space bubble, Americans have like a large actual space bubble. I think Germans have a like don't talk to me bubble. Like you can stand
Yeah.
relatively close to me. It's just there's no reason for you to speak.
The only reason you would say hello or good morning to someone who's passing you is if you're living in a small neighborhood and you actually kind of know each other.
In rural areas, I've noticed people will say hello even if you're a stranger.
Yeah, that's very
in,
common.
In cities, though, you know, it's very much like New York. You're just cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, like
okay.
New York.
And it's okay to be cold because that's just the way it is.
Also, there's so many human
But-
beings, you can't interact with everyone. Whereas in a rural area, there's less people per square mile, so you value a human being's
Right,
presence more.
Right.
Because
And
you're not
yet-
constantly bombarded with it.
Men somehow have the energy to interact
No,
with
but-
every woman.
No, but yes, there's a clear distinction that men will be more likely to be friendly with women.
American men.
Right. But
they
it's
both-
also a part of our culture in that not every American women find that offensive.
No, but the
Right?
thing is, not every time somebody approaches me, I'm offended. But still, if I think about it, I shouldn't have even be approached.
Like if Jamie from the Scottish TV show approached her and
Outlander.
said, from Outlander,
Yeah, I
said,
guess if
"How do you
that's-
doing, lassie?" I don't think you'd be offended.
Josie be like,
It
you
is
want my
kind of
bread?
weird.
It's not about
It's
whether or
not
not
that
it's
I
offensive.
ever
it's
do
what-
it, but I feel like
Well,
it's
you should
not
be doing it. You're married.
No, in my entire life, I've never just gone up to random women. Oh,
same.
well, maybe one time when I was really drunk.
What are you talking about, Everett? This is how we met.
Wow. Ultimately, I think it comes down to this. Americans can be outgoing but superficial, and Germans can be reserved but very genuine when you get to know them.
Number two is apparently there is this thing called American chivalry. And considering that, you know, chivalry comes from like knights in shining armor, you would think the Europeans would know everything about chivalry.
On a first date or the first few dates, it's a little more casual in Germany than it is in America. So in America, it's normal for the guy to come to your house, pick you up, open the car door, drive you to the restaurant, pay the whole bill, and then drive you back home, walk you to your door, maybe give you a slight kiss goodnight, and walk back to his car. In Germany, we probably just say, hey, I'll meet you at the restaurant at 7.
Sounds like a rom-com.
I
on
also
dates.
think that ultimately that whole mentality comes from an idea that a woman has to be seduced in order for her to give you what you want, right? Generally speaking, women use sex to get love, and men use love to get sex.
The problem with that kind of behavior is, though, I was so nice to her. Oh, that brings me to another point. I was so nice to her for 3 dates. Why won't she put out on the third date? The 3-date rule? What's up with that?
The 3-date rule I had never heard of before, and that's
What?
how bad I.
You've never heard of
Are
that?
you even American,
The only
dude?
thing I heard of was that you don't call her for 6 days. And I didn't understand
6
that
days?
either. Yeah, that's from a movie Swingers.
Well, okay, but
Don't-
not if you
I
have
thought that was
sex
from
on
How
the-
I Met Your Mother.
Not
call
just that.
her right away. If you like her, call her. Text her, please. Text her immediately.
If you had a magical night with her and you kissed her goodnight and went into your car, text her the next day and tell her how much fun you had and how much
Yes.
you're looking forward to seeing her again. Keep that magic going. You wait 6 days, she's gonna meet some dude in the bread roll aisle at the grocery store, you know, and then it's over for you. They have options, guys. Up your game.
No, but I
think-
mean, what is this 3 days rule? Like,
Three
you have to have
dates.
sex,
Three
like,
dates.
It's
Three dates.
It's not real anymore.
after the
Yeah, that
but
doesn't make
down
sense to me.
put out
It's
in the
like-
first 2 dates, and then
Some women do.
It's like no, but it's like almost expected that like by the third date or after the third date, you go home with the guy and you sleep with him. It's like an American thing, and it's
so American.
it's broadcasted.
Well, okay, then
like,
do you guys have a
all
rule?
in-
Yeah, what's Germany's
in
rule?
American
None.
What do you guys wait? 8 months?
No.
Are
Until
you
you're
kidding
married.
me? The first date.
9 months.
No, but because
Depends
I
on the
don't-
individual, probably.
Because Americans are a little prude, so you don't want to put out on the first or second
it's
date because then you're a
puritanical.
slut. But then you also have our other point with having the talk, like when are you exclusive? Germans aren't like this.
Okay.
Point number 3, the talk. Americans will eventually in the beginning of the relationship sit down and have the talk and say, are we exclusive? Are we a relationship? And do we stop seeing other people? Germans don't do that. The assumption is probably that you're exclusive.
I mean, you kind of assume that you are exclusive as soon as you like hang out more often. You clearly start developing feelings, you know, and that kind of stuff, and then you start doing stuff, and then especially once you have sex, then you are exclusive. And the amount of dates, we don't even count the dates.
But that's also because I think dating is more casual. So dating doesn't always have to be I pick you up, we go out for a movie and dinner, and then I drop you off back home. It can
Right.
also just be like, hey, let's just meet up in the city. We got the pretzel platter. There is cheese, different sausages, salami, pepperoni, pickles, mustard, and Obersten.
Obatsta.
Opasta.
I shall never learn how to
Obersten?
say Bavarian things. Obersten.
Opasta?
And a Brezen.
Brezen.
Brezen. Point number 4. American long-term relationships kind of almost inevitably lead to marriage.
Marrying your high school sweetheart or college sweetheart, mainly high school sweetheart, is like a huge deal.
If you're in America and you're in a relationship for like 5 years, you're probably married because that's what Americans do. But Germany, it's okay to just be in a long-term relationship.
I have friends who've been dating for like 8 to 10 years and they're still not married.
And it's fine.
Wow.
Do Germans give you tax breaks for being married?
Oh yes.
Which
So
is
that
why
doesn't help.
then Germans get married.
Right, because that's a huge thing for Americans too. But I also think it's the same puritanical American culture, is that, you know, being married actually validates your relationship more in a place like the U.S. than in somewhere else where you know, whether you're married or not, you're still considered like together.
I mean, there are other cultures that take it even more strictly than we
for
do.
sure. I think that Germans see dating as like a human, like a woman is a human being that you get to know over time, whereas in American culture, a woman is an object of pleasure that you must earn.
So what I'm hearing is Germans are better.
But that also goes both ways. For example, with splitting the bill, if we go on a first date and we know we're probably financially relatively even because we're both in college, then we're both gonna pay for our food because I don't expect you to have a ton more money than me and just to pay for all my stuff just because I'm a girl.
And I have to say this, and as much as I don't want to because I'm a woman, but American women have this kind of entitlement about them that the man needs to provide everything. They have to pay for everything, they have to take them out all the time. They have to come up with all the ideas for dates. They have to be able to take care of them down the line because that is the ultimate goal. And then you just want to pop out a bunch of kids. I don't want to insult any American women, by the way, but this is how I see some American women act in their relationships, and I'm like, there should be more to that. Like, you're a whole being in yourself.
And I also think it's maybe still a little bit harder in American society as a woman if you do want to have kids and a career. So you maybe just have
Because
to
the government doesn't support you at all.
So you probably have made that choice. You're like, okay, I want to have kids, so I'll probably have a very simple job. So I need a man to support that. But in Germany, even though there's obviously still difficulties, but it is.
Right. But you did notice that too, right?
Observe.
Well, you're
Show,
spelling it
do
all
it in
over
front of
your
the
keys.
camera. You got this. Now you can spell on yourself. Okay, well, there is such a thing as not enough head.
Yeah.
My body
He's
That's
still got
like-
some things to learn.
That's apparently an American thing. We hate the head that Germans need to have.
There are so many things I want to say right now, but I won't because it's YouTube.
I know.
Save that for Pornhub now.
For porn.
Going on our OnlyFans. Can we just show this differences between Germans and Americans? He's been dipping his pretzel into the Oberstern. I'm using my
I've
knife.
been dipping.
I've been dipping too. You're the weird one, Natalie.
You're the Bavarian.
Natalie gross.
doing it right.
Pretzel piece.
Natalie's doing it the German way, and I am fully Americanized.
Woohoo!
Natalie, did you say you had a point? No, no points.
The date night thing, yeah. But
Oh, okay.
like the
I like
fact
that
that
one.
date night exists. You know, like it's such a big deal instead of just going like, yeah, let's go out for dinner. I feel like date night is kind of glorified somehow. Like the fact that the word exists and we don't have a German word for that.
Really? You have a German word for everything. How do you not have a German word for date night?
Because we just go out.
Okay,
Like with
what
your
is the
partner.
word for date?
Oh, it's actually date.
So is it actually a German word, or did you just borrow it from the US?
word for
Eine
date?
Verabredung.
No, there's no
Interesting.
Verabredung, but that could be platonic.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah, that's what I mean. What I'm trying to say is, you never had the German culture never had a word for date.
No.
That tells you everything about the differences between German and American. Right there. Right there. It's like when the Klingons don't have a word for sorry.
Because they're not.
Yeah, but the thing is, we wouldn't use date as a term to describe going out with your already spouse or partner.
Like you're
Yeah.
already married, but we say, oh, hey Everett, let's have a date night. Let's go out and see a movie and then let's go to a restaurant.
yes.
Germans will just go out and see a movie, but it's not that big of a deal.
But you need that big deal. If you don't have the big deal, then what's the big deal?
We can combine that point to 0.5 or 6 or 10 or whatever we're at. Americans have to make a big deal out of everything.
Oh my god.
And that also goes with Americans are just always like really complimentary and like really
what?
like
Close.
everything.
Close.
Yeah, that's what I say to that.
We make a big deal out of stuff, apparently.
Not apparently, they do. I mean, just look at like proposal pictures and proposals in general, like the extra. Like Americans are so extra in a relationship.
And baby gender
Male and
reveal.
female,
Oh my
like,
God. Don't get me started.
Baby gender reveal?
Yeah.
You guys don't have that?
No, we don't even have. Do we have baby
Babies?
showers?
No, I
You
mean
have
maybe,
baby
maybe you have a party with your friends where they give you gifts.
But we don't have a term for
That's a
baby,
baby
shower.
shower.
No, but we don't have a term for that. Like we don't celebrate
You have a
baby
term
showers.
for everything. What's the term for baby? Baby? What's the term for shower? Douche? Baby douche.
In America, we will take everything you love away from you and sell it back to you. And so you need a reason to celebrate that you're having a child. You need to spend money on gifts and cards and other things that you require in order to properly celebrate the fact that you're having a child. It's capitalism at its highest form.
Yeah, I will say that, sounds like having a child in Germany is a lot cheaper.
Again, it's this whole idea of individualistic culture. Means you will do what is best for you, not what's best for the overall. And in Germany, it's what's best for the overall takes precedence over the individual. More so.
I actually think most countries are like that in the world.
No. In Asia, for example, it's not like that at all. Asia's more like Germany. in the
That's what
sense-
I mean.
Yeah,
No,
oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
You're
I'm
saying
sorry.
most of the world is like Germany, where the
at least
collective
first
takes
world that I've
precedence.
experienced is much more like Germany than they are America. America's super unique in that weird way.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and put down in the comments what you think about the German and American dating cultures. Also become a Patreon, because feeding this guy is really expensive.
He needs lots of radler.
We're eating and talking, we're eating and talking, we're eating and talking. Come find out what we'll say.